Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. Over the last several years, the non-employee labor industry has broadened its footprint and can be found in a breadth of companies across the globe. Geometric Results Incorporated offers solutions and technology for the strategic management of this workforce. President Art Knapp and Vice President of Solutions and Innovation, Jill Perino, are here to tell us more. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Kathy.
Art, could you please share some labor industry trends impacting companies right now?
Certainly. I think the trends impacting companies today are very similar to what's impacting just business in general. We're seeing a difference in how work is being done, where it's being done, and by whom it's being done. I'll look at my parents' generation where one person worked at a company for 25 years or 30 years, got a gold watch, and then my generation, we changed companies a few times, but not all that often. We got to the point where people were changing the industries that they worked in, and now we're at a point where it's kind of like a gig economy we talk about, and so we're seeing how the type of talent that you need is very different, where it is very different, and then how you engage them is incredibly different than it used to be.
And Jill, can you please give some insight into how Geometric Results is addressing these trends?
Absolutely. So as a managed services provider in the non-employee labor space, it's our job to help companies develop strategies around how they can engage all of these different kinds of workers today. We have a set of unique solutions that are very comprehensive in addressing what used to just be a quote-unquote temp worker, and that has grown substantially to incorporate consulting firms, SOW-based workers, independent contractors, and freelance workers. And so our suite of solutions addresses all of those, which is unique in the MSP space.
Well, let's take a closer look at Geometric Results in this Worldwide Business Field Report.
My name is Randy Dean. I'm the president of Fasttwitch, and what we do is we do IT consulting. We help our clients complete projects by giving them the personnel with the expertise they need to do projects. And we do some work outside of IT, but it's primarily information technology. Some of the roles that our people will perform for our clients and helping them in their projects can be a wide range. It can be from a program manager, a project manager to help make sure a project gets completed properly. It can be a developer that's actually doing the work, create a new piece of software, mobile development work. It's really whatever our clients need to help them be successful in what they need done in information technology. The relationship with Fasttwitch and Geometric Results has been ongoing for a long time. In fact, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. I think it's over 10 years now, and we've worked with them at several major clients, including Ford Motor Company and L Brands. And essentially what they've done is they help us partner with the client to do the best possible job of providing these resources for our clients. The main work we do with GRI is to provide non-employee labor. So it's providing supplemental staffing, primarily in IT, sometimes other areas. We're working with them to kind of be an interface point with the client. And so what they really help us with is understanding the client's needs, helping make sure that process works efficiently so that there's not a lot of wasted time from the client side or from our side in fulfilling the client's needs.
Art, who is Geometric Results Incorporated, and what do you do for your customers?
We're a wholly owned subsidiary of MSX International, a Detroit-based firm, very closely aligned with the auto industry for many, many years. What we do for our customers is we provide we call a managed service, or MSP, managed service provider. And that service is all around the non-employee labor force. And that is a pretty complex labor force. And it's all different types of people. We manage the process by which clients acquire those people. And that can be optimizing the supply chain, it's working with managers on better defining their requisitions, it's getting people paid at the end of all the process, but the entire process, and we look to improve how clients do it, we mitigate their risks while we're doing it, and we certainly save them money while that's going on.
And Jill, could you please explain what non-employee labor and managed service providers are?
Absolutely. Many people would be surprised to learn that upwards of 50% of a company's workforce can be non-employee. And those non-employees can engage through a variety of types of work arrangements. They can be an employee of a temporary staffing agency. They can be engaged through a consulting firm. They could be a freelance worker or an independent worker. And the types of work they do spans a very wide variety. It can be somebody that works on the floor of a factory or is an administrative assistant filling in for a full-time employee who's on a leave of absence. It could be a specialized IT resource that does development work in real hard-to-find skill sets of coding. It could also be ongoing management consulting or tax and audit type of engagement. So what used to be leveraging non-employee labor at low skill levels now spans upwards of very, very specialized and highly paid resources as well. And as a managed service provider, it's our job to help companies make sense of how to engage all of those different channels of talent.
And Art, could you please tell us why a company would engage an MSP?
Yeah, I think I'll go back to when this industry really started to take off was right around Y2K. Clients were engaging a lot of IT workers. We thought it was going to be the end of the world. And during that process, of course, the supply was much smaller than the demand and costs were run up and people felt like they were out of control. And so that was right around the time when the MSP business really started to take off. And so the first reason they started to engage us was to get control of their costs. That has evolved dramatically since then because now they're all about visibility into what they're spending. It's amazing to talk to these large corporations that we work with and they have no idea how much they're spending in this space. And now, as more and more people are involved in this area, there's a lot more government regulation around it. Are we classifying our workers correctly? We see, problems all the time, whether it's with Uber or whether it was with Microsoft or whomever it might be, where there were issues around worker classification and the penalties associated. So there's a lot of risk mitigation involved. And then as they now try to find talent, they really need to incorporate this as the part of their strategy. You'll see clients with up to 50% of their workforce is non-employee labor. And so now what's the right strategy? Who should I engage, when and why? And this makes the job as the MSP much more complex than it used to be.
I think the evolution of what an MSP does for its clients has been important. 15, 20 years ago, right, we were really perceived as a gatekeeper for some of the staffing suppliers. And the value that clients were looking for was, I need to save money, right? First and foremost, cost savings. And then, hey, if you can provide the visibility that I need in terms of who's on site and what I'm spending with those folks, that would be great. And especially from a GRI perspective, if we kind of rested on our laurels and that's all we were able to provide for our clients 15 years later, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So I think when we say we want to become the next generation MSP, it means going beyond the tactical. Hey, we're going to put some folks on site with you and they're going to fill your jobs. It means we're going to put highly strategic, competent folks on site with you, sometimes maybe not on site, right, that understand your business, that get integrated with your culture, that can have a seat at the table and have the strategy discussions to help you plan your entire workforce. So I think anyone looking for any way to kind of manage any non-employee labor that is looking for more than just the tactical and a true strategic partner that can add value to your business should be looking at GRI.
Art, could you please describe the size of the MSP industry?
Yeah, it's massive. And right now, we talk about it as being a $1 trillion industry. I would say that just over $100 billion is being managed today by the leading MSP providers, including us. But there's awful lot of spend within the programs we manage today that isn't being managed, that continues to provide growth opportunities for us. But the other thing is that the industry itself is growing because this is how a lot of people want to work today. They want to work in this kind of non-traditional way. And so we're seeing, especially with millennials, where they don't want to work for a company for, directly for a long period of time. And so that's creating a lot of growth. And the globalization of the labor market has certainly created a lot of growth, as well as the fact that technology enables people to do work almost anywhere at any time all around the world. And so that has really changed the way we do work.
And Jill, could you specify how GRI is different from others in the MSP space?
Absolutely. So our market presence, as opposed to our competitors, is that what we call an independent and conflict-free MSP. Many of our MSP competitors are owned by either large global staffing companies or technology providers. And that causes those MSP programs to need to show preference to certain areas of their business. With our independent and conflict-free stance, we instead can customize and be very flexible in our solutions with our customers and craft a very specialized offering for them that is composed of best-of-breed providers. We also have invested in what we call a solutions and innovation function, and that provides thought leadership and market insights to our clients such that we can be very proactive in getting ahead of the curve with some of these labor industry trends. We also have a very robust suite of best practices that we call upon that we can bring into a client and help to educate them on the different levers that we can pull in a program to really maximize the value for them.
Right. And Art, could you please discuss how you find the best workers for individual companies?
Yeah, I think this is another area that's really been changing quite a bit, which used to be driven by large staffing firms that were providing labor to particular clients. We still continue to leverage those kinds of firms, but what we've seen the last probably 5 years is the need for more innovative type solutions. So one of the terms that we use a lot and that gets a lot of play in the last couple of years is talent clouds. And so we now try to leverage those as ways of getting specific types of talent for our clients. We have a client, for example, that wants to hire more veterans, and we've created a cloud, or what we'd call a database of people, but we curate it in a way that enables them to fit for those particular types of clients and the skill sets. And we use clouds for hard to find skill sets or geographic remote locations. It could be a lot of things, but we continue to look for ways of engaging this non-traditional labor pool, you know, whether it's through social media or whatever it might be, but we have to find ways to get them because the traditional staffing firms are struggling to come up with the same kind of talent that is needed in this fast-moving economy.
And Jill, could you please tell us which departments within companies are usually involved in managing non-employee labor?
Absolutely. This is another area that has really changed and evolved in recent years. Historically, this was seen as really a cost savings play or a procurement play. And so therefore, the CPO or the head of procurement would be the decision maker in selecting a managed service provider and managing it ongoing. What we've seen over the last few years is that human resources and even talent acquisition teams have taken an interest in this because of the importance on finding resources outside of the full-time employee base. So those two teams, procurement and HR or talent acquisition, are now teaming up and partnering and even creating new sub-departments, so to speak, to manage this kind of initiative in their company. But beyond that, that's not all. There's IT, so there's obvious technology impacts that come into play with our programs. Also finance. We do provide consolidated invoicing and payment to suppliers in that, so the finance play and the accounts payable, accounts receivable element factors in, as does legal and risk and compliance. The pace of change in the regulatory side of this continue to quicken, and so those groups are more and more interested in how they're treating their non-employee labor and not only focused on their full-time employee base.
One of the things we've seen is that audit departments are more and more involved in large corporations, and as those audits get completed, that triggers a tremendous interest in our programs.
And Art, where can GRI serve companies?
We service them all over the world. We currently have workers going to work every day in over 50 countries. We have locations, we have pockets of people throughout the world. We have big centers in India and the UK and 2 of them in the United States where we can consolidate some of our workers to help service our clients better. But we also put a lot of people on site at our clients. We do business literally all over the world.
How I see Fasttwitch and GRI kind of moving forward in the future together is as we've gotten to know each other better and I think worked effectively together, there's an opportunity hopefully for additional value to be added, because if GRI has a client that is maybe having difficulties with they feel like the performance that's happening, they're not seeing the results that they want out of the program, and GRI feels there's another good vendor they need to help kind of supplement that, they have a trust in Fasttwitch and we proven capability to perform, and so hopefully we can work together in some of those instances, and there's already been at least one like that, so and we expect that to continue to grow over time. And then at the same time, Fasttwitch is growing a lot geographically, so there's more and more markets that we can serve, which also hopefully provides more opportunities for us to work together.
Jill, before we come to a close, could you please tell us what you see coming up next in the MSP industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the kind of multitude of changing factors in the workforce today is driving clients to look at elevating the service that comes from their MSP. It's not just about filling basic requisitions and hiring a temp for 3 months. They're looking for their MSP to really be a strategic guide for them, to be a trusted advisor, to help them anticipate issues and come up with creative solutions and customized solutions to solve those. And so MSPs moving forward will need to be very flexible. They'll need to have very comprehensive service offerings, because this trend towards engagement of non-employee labor is not slowing down, and it will continue to grow. Existing clients that are leveraging an MSP already or have leveraged one for a number of years will look more and more to bring those programs global, to expand the scope of them. And if they've been used to using one MSP for a number of years, this is the time for them to reevaluate that and make sure that they're getting the most out of their current provider, test the market maybe.
Well, it's clear that GRI's best-in-class services can help companies optimize and capitalize on their talent acquisition and workforce strategies. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. For Worldwide Business, I'm Kathy Ireland. Thank you for watching.